At Abode, first, we want to understand our clients so we can assist with their needs and ensure a successful move, whether you're moving from city to city, state to state, or even country to country. Our agents are knowledgeable and experienced with the relocation process, and they can help you every step of the way.
So how long have you guys been in the military?
Well, I joined the Army in 1994, but I just served my initial enlistment, so really just a few years to start.
But you've worked, though, for the Army as a civilian for how long?
Wow, geez, you're going to make me do math. Since 2002.
Yeah, and I enlisted in 1995 and retired in 2017. And then I began working as a civilian for the Army as well, and I did that for a few years. But now I'm just a retiree, and a stay-at-home dad, sort of, and a licensed real estate broker in Colorado. But Billy is still a Department of the Army civilian, working for the Army at Fort Carson.
Okay, so you guys have had your share of moves. How many times have you guys moved with the military?
So from 95 to 2017, we moved 10 times, and not all of them were, a very neat, pack your stuff, put it on a moving truck, go to a new place and unpack it and everyone's happy. There was always a unique set of circumstances for every one of those 10 or probably 11 moves actually.
When you get orders to go to a new place, what was the first thing you did?
I think you probably look at it from two lenses. You've got orders to a place, and so you want to know about the unit you're going to and the military aspects. What job are you going to do? How am I going to go overseas from that location or not? But then you also look at it from a personal lens, right? Where am I going to live? Where's our family going to live? What are the schools like? What's transportation like? What after duty things are there to do? Will my spouse be able to find employment? It's not a given that a family will live in military housing on an installation. Most don't, in fact.
So when you have considered, your move, impending move, do you think renting? Do you think owning? I mean, what in your, past, what have you done?
About halfway through our career, we bought for the first time. And the reason we bought is because we did some math on the amount of money that we had spent for the first 11 years paying someone else's mortgage. And we couldn't get any of that money back, right? And we said, let's start buying. And we've bought since then. We've bought 4 houses. Every single time it's paid off, every single time. And sometimes it's paid off really well.
When you guys decided to buy, your first military home, and you knew you have this thing called a VA certificate, right? Mm-hmm. Did you understand much about it?
So I think the biggest problem is the term VA loan. It's a misnomer, right? And as a young 20-something, when we first bought a place, no one had ever explained it to me, and I made the assumption that the Veterans Administration was loaning us money, and that certainly is not the case, right? The right term is a VA-backed loan, right? And so understanding it now, a home buyer still has to go to a private lender and be approved for a loan, and then the VA will back a portion of that loan. The real benefit takes place in that the VA will allow you then to buy a home without a down payment.
And that's great that you have that experience in the past, because I get a lot of hesitancy from military people who are not sure how to use their VA, not sure how to transition from one VA to their next, certificate. Every house is a little bit different, but it's still available to you. And I think a lot of home buyers or military home buyers are sometimes surprised that there's options and that they can hold on to their house. They can either refi it and release their VA eligibility and buy another house in the next location.
Right.
When you guys are thinking about moving, you've got your orders, you know where you're PCSing to. What was the first thing you did? Did you guys talk to your friends about, hey, who do you know down there that was a realtor? Did you guys think about using a realtor to buy a house? Did you guys think about just doing it on your own?
We've used a realtor every time.
Absolutely.
Every time. So I'm I've never passed the bar exam, and not that realtors have, but there's always a concern about the lengthy list of legal things that take place in a real estate transaction. And it's probably the biggest investment that a person's ever going to make in their life, whether it be property or a home or whatever. And using that trained professional, in our opinion, I wouldn't change any bit of that. There were so many things that I never even thought of, and then there's this piece of paper in front of you and it's talking about, you know, certain legal potentials. And I was very grateful and thankful that we had real estate professionals, licensed agents who could walk us through the process and ensure that everything we were doing was legal.
I'm sure, you know, once you know where you're going, you want to know what's there, you know, what's around there, what kind of lifestyle, what kind of home, what kind of price range, things that I'm sure a lot of the times you don't get to go places twice, right? And they're all new. So, you know, I see the value of having somebody there already on the ground that could be your eyes, that could look around, that could get the information that you need, whether it's a daycare, whether it's, you know, you like a specific gym, or there's everybody's got a little bit of a lifestyle difference. So we want to make sure that wherever we go, that we can still be us, you know, be ourselves. So I get a lot of questions about restaurants, and there's things like sometimes churches, sometimes schools, you know, what kind of schools are available. They want to know the ratings, they want to know, you know, if there's private schools or charter schools, and what are some of the items that were important to you?
Definitely schools.
Sure.
When we moved here, we had our little guy, who's now 6, but when we moved here, he was 3, and we needed to be in a school district that we thought was going to prepare him best for the rest of his life. And so that was one significant consideration. And of course, Colorado Springs has several very highly rated school districts, and we chose the one that would get us a good foot in the door for putting him in one of the best schools in Springs.
You know, when the market was not doing very well, there's a lot of military that had to leave Colorado Springs. And a lot of their homes were on the market for a lot longer than people expected, because the market was down. And there's a lot of concern about value. Can I get the value out of my house that I need to break even? And some of the times that was not the case. But we still had plenty of military families that said, okay, I know this is not the situation that we want to leave you in, but here's the keys, here's our problem, fix it, make it work. We're able to get them out of their house and help them be successful in getting into their new house as well. So I think, you know, it's fun to hear on your end that, you know, you did rely quite heavily on your realtors to come through for you.
I like to think that I'm bringing that back to my clients now. I'm working with a customer now who's the service member is overseas, the spouse is in a completely different state, and they need to rapidly buy a house. And so I'm gladly going to preview houses for them. We can FaceTime or Google Duo or whatever while I'm at the location, and it takes a huge burden off of that spouse who's stateside and dealing with selling their current house and all the issues that go with that, right? And so there's a lot that we as agents can do, especially on the military side. I mean, I understand what goes into moving a military family, and so I think I can hit some of those nuances for them.
Yeah, I think you're a great value to Abode because of your experience, and I think you're going to do a great job for your clients because you can understand what they're going through.
This has been our dream for decades now, to move to Colorado and live in the mountains, and there is no better place, I don't think anyway, to retire. And so I can't understand why a person wouldn't move to Colorado. Like, move here, give me a call, and we'll find you a place.
Let Abode simplify your move to Colorado.